PR Connections Radio presents.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PR Connections show at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. My name is Guy Dawson, and I am your host. And I am back with a good friend of mine and colleague, Uncle Dan. He is a business advocate consultant, a great guy, someone who I greatly appreciate having the opportunity to work with on a great deal of different types of projects. And it's always a pleasure to be able to speak with you, Dan, about things that you're doing to make the lives of business people better. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Guy. Thanks for having me, man. It's good to see you again and partake with give out a little education to business owners.
Yeah, and as a business advocate consultant, what exactly does that represent? I have a pretty good idea about it, but people in our audience might not really understand the scope of the work that you do.
What we do is we advocate for the business owner, as opposed to business owners get hit up every day by salespeople selling them stuff every day. But we take a different approach, because what we want to do is we want to bring money to the business owner that they may not be aware of. So we're advocating for them for different programs where we're not selling anything. There's nothing that we basically do is there's a cost out of their pocket. So when I say advocate, I mean I'm advocating to bring education to them so that they'll be aware of money that they're leaving on the table, generally with a lot of subsidized programs through the government.
And Dan, we have these conversations all the time. Small business people are people that we're very close to, and we're passionate about helping them. And there are so many opportunities out there to help small business owners to be more successful. Sometimes they just need someone to guide them in the right direction. And having someone like you as a partner, as a consultant to help them really can position a business owner to be able to tap into some of the vast resources that are out there that could really make their jobs easier, make their businesses more successful, and ultimately enable them to be able to provide more of the products and services that they have so that they'll be more successful.
You know, Guy, that's exactly what Uncle Dan Consulting Corp does. We are, we're not the know-all of everything, but we know a lot. We know a lot more than most companies and most business owners when it comes to getting different, I would call it grants and funding and mainly in the tax credit industry. So again, there's different programs where they're eligible for. And if you don't know what you don't know, Guy. And so what I basically do is I align myself with people that are smarter with me, and when I do that, I mean, companies that do this expertise or have the expertise on a daily basis. Our company is more of the find the customer, educate the customer, and then basically we turn it over to the real experts that do what I call the heavy lifting, or the diving deep, like R&D tax credits, where not every CPA, the majority of CPAs don't know how to do an R&D tax credit study. But I work with a company out of Los Angeles, that's all they do. And so that's as an example, they do the heavy lifting, they do all the technical things and all the hard work, but I'm that guy that's on the front lines trying to bring and help these companies understand, if we do X, Y, Z, you may have 100,000 on the table, 10,000, $1 million on the table that you don't know about. So that's really the gist of what we do.
Let's talk about tax credits specifically, Dan. When it comes to taxes, that is definitely a delicate subject, but it's something that all business owners, it's a thought, right? It's professionals and business people. Taxes are definitely a concern, but you've got some opportunities, I think, that our small business people out there can really benefit from as part of your consulting business. Tell us about some of these tax credits that you help them get.
Well, I'm first of all, I want to clarify that, I'm not a CPA. If you need tax advice, go to your CPA. But I do understand something that, which is R&D tax credits that, like I said, many CPAs know what they are, but they don't actually know how to put it together because it's very complicated. So R&D stands for research and development, and what that particular credit does. I'm going to ask you a question, Guy. Do you know the difference between a tax deduction and a tax credit?
Honestly, no.
Okay, let me explain it to you. A tax deduction, say, Guy, let's use a fictional number. Let's assume that your company grossed 400,000 this year. So if we take a 25% effective tax rate, that would put the company would owe about $100,000 in taxes. Okay. So with a deduction, say that you had $100,000 in expenses that you could write off. So basically you would take that 100,000, deduct it from the 400,000, then you figure out the tax calculation, and it would probably give you about a 25% tax reduction for your company. That's what you'll get out of that 100,000. Okay. So now let's take a tax credit. And a tax credit, let's take the same assumption. The company makes 400,000, 25% effective tax rate. So they're $100,000 they're going to have to pay to Uncle Sam. So, but guess what? Their company does some type of innovative process, and I'm talking, it could be in manufacturing, it could be in digital marketing, it could be in e-commerce marketing, it could be in AI, it could be in software development. It can be in a company that does, say, breweries, distilleries. Those are very common, and those majority of the time are eligible. So you have a company like that, 400,000. The average tax credit we found is going to be about 250,000 for a company that's making that type of income. So let's assume it's 250,000. So you're going to have to pay 100,000. Guess what? That 100,000 is covered by your R&D tax credit. That leaves a balance of 150,000. Guess what happens to that 150,000? You get a check back from the IRS.
Nice.
That's free money. And so again, there are many, probably 70% of the companies in this country do some type of innovation or creation of a process, and it has to be technical in nature. And but that being the case, that's where the CPA comes in. That's where they do their job. It's not my job to go through all the specifics of what it does and how it works. I kind of just provide the basics, and then we see, hey, let's see if you qualify, because you may. We're finding many companies that do. To give you an example, I'm not going to say their name, but it's a major yogurt company. And the CPA firm, we're just able to get them $1.3 million back in R&D, and they had no idea that they were eligible. And this is a permanent tax credit. This is not like ERC or SETC. This credit will be here it's permanent through Congress. So guess what? That company is very happy that they're getting back $1.3 million every single year, because you get it now, you're going to get it every year, and the credit is probably going to go up, because as your company gets more and more profitable, then that means that means you're putting more into research and development, and that means your credit's going to probably be larger. So it's just a win-win that most companies don't know about.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal opportunity, in my opinion, Dan. As you said, R&D is really an essential part of any business. Any business that really wants to succeed is actively investing in R&D, and to actually be able to get a tax credit for that in terms of, money in your pocket, capital, right? When it comes to running a business, we need to access to capital is something that's really important for small business people, all business people for that matter.
Do you know there are companies where the CEOs actually live off the tax credit every year as their income? And I'm using an example, that I just went over, but let's assume it was a smaller company. It was 50,000, right? You're out there pounding it, doing doing what you need to do to make your business go. And you get 50,000 back. Really, you're getting that back every year, and it's going to increase. And let me give you another tip. If you have a company that's a startup within the last 5 years and they haven't made $5 million, say they're not profitable at all. Guy, they have employees. The employees are paying what? Payroll taxes. So guess what? The payroll taxes, even though they're not profitable, they're not going to recapture any of the income taxes, but they can recapture the payroll taxes. And you can go back 3 years. So again, you can go back 3 years, and then you can push forward 20 years as well. So that being the case, even though they're not profitable, they're still paying those payroll taxes. That can be recaptured through R&D tax credits.
Right. Just so many options. And again, when I was introducing you today, Dan, I wanted to really emphasize to everyone the importance of having a tour guide. You know, you go on vacation and you go on a foreign country, and so much of business, aspects of business is uncharted territory for a lot of us. And so it's sort of like going to the foreign country and you don't really know how to move around when you go. I mean, I've been on vacations, you go there, it's beautiful, but you don't know the lay of the land. But having someone like Dan, who is actively studying these excellent opportunities for credits, it's helpful, right, Dan? You're providing consultation that really makes you're more efficient because
Absolutely.
you go right to the source, somebody who can truly guide you in the right direction.
Absolutely. And the great thing about it is there is zero out-of-pocket costs for our company to do this. Nothing comes out of their pocket up front. We're generally paid on the back end. So it's like a win-win for everyone.
What are some of the other credits that you can help people with?
Well, there is one in the, I guess you would call it in the health industry that I like, because what it basically does is any company that has over 10 W-2 employees who make at least $25,000 per year, this program is a subsidized program that's related to the ACA, or better known as the Affordable Care Act. So there's some provisions in there to get your employees healthy so they don't break the system when they get older. And so there are companies out there that will do all the heavy lifting. And what happens is you get all these great benefits for your employees that are basically free, such as an AI scan on your phone that's tracking your health 24/7. So in case something's going to happen, maybe a possible heart attack, whatever, the AI is going to pick it up, because when you first get the system, the app, you do a scan on your face. And then now, man, it's making sure that everything is okay. It can track your blood work. It can track, it's amazing. It can track everything, blood pressure, cholesterol, everything. But it also gives the employee benefits to where, hey, if it says, hey, what's my health score? And it say 40 something, you got to go to work. So it's continually giving suggestions to do this, but you get that benefit. You get free prescriptions for the entire family. That's huge. You also get Quest labs. They need to go, you go to the lab and, you need to get a blood test or, get something done with some type of lab work done. There's no copay, and this is for the entire family. So, I mean, those two things alone. Also, one of the big things is every time you go to your doctor, you pull out your, say, Blue Cross, United Healthcare, or whatever it may be. That card is going to cause a claim against the health insurance of that particular company. Well, with this particular program I'm telling you about, there's a separate health card to where you pull that card out because it's for preventative measures. And what's going to happen is there's now no copay. So you don't have to dig in your pocket for 30, 40, 50 bucks every time you go to the doctor. And that is really an awesome feature of that. So now that it's preventative, it also includes things like a free colonoscopy. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, this, and you get for the entire family virtual when you go to a virtual care, your urgent care, You get 3 visits face to face if you need to go, run down to the doctor, whatever. But many times it's little things. They can just take you right there. You can actually set up a primary doctor with that program. And again, that doesn't cost anything. Mental health counseling. There's a company that has that there's a union that's signed on that has all of these prison guards. And you know how mentally taxing that must be dealing with these people that are in jail. Guess what? You can be on that phone every day at no cost talking to a counselor if you're having some challenges. So those, again, there's zero cost for those. Now, how does it benefit the business owner? The business owner, because of the nature of the pre-tax deductions, they're going to save about $500 per year per employee. So you're going to say, a company with 100 employees, that's $50,000 a year. 10 employees is $5,000 a year. And some companies don't have health insurance. This is preventative health. It's not health insurance. But at least with this, you can offer something to your employees where they're going to get some benefits. So this is like a win-win for the business owner as well. Remember, I told you that the claims against your health insurance are going to go down. That means your premiums for health insurance costs are going to go down. Same with workman's comp. And there's a benefit on top of that, guy. You know what it is? Every employee gets a guaranteed issue life insurance policy up to $150,000. That's also no cost out of the employee's pocket or the business owner's pocket. So that is an awesome. On my website is called I think we named it Payroll Tax Savings. But that's one that no one knows about. They're all eligible, minimum 10, all the way up to thousands of employees. And so that's one, those two are my favorite.
Being able to offer services as a part of employment can be a very attractive thing, Dan, when people are looking for a job. Opportunities for them to have things such as mental health counseling and other services, health, things related to your health are so prominent because we all got to get through this life and take care of ourselves. And when they're choosing employers, your ability to be able to provide them something that could be of a preventative nature, as you mentioned, to help them be healthier, it could be the difference between them choosing you and working for someone else.
Absolutely. You think twice before leaving those benefits. Makes a lot of sense. And actually, you know what? To on top of that, there is a new one that's related to that one that has most of those benefits I just talked about. It's for 1099 self-employed people, but there is a cost for that one. It's I think it's around $69 for an individual, and I think $150 for the entire family. But now you got something. If you have nothing, right? Because quite frankly, because you can't afford $900 a month, $1,000 a month, or even $400 or $500 a month. Now you have something. One thing I just remembered that I just omitted. There is something called care. It's a care not coverage, but it's a care program, and it has something called hospital eraser in there. And so, did you know, Guy, that in the nonprofit guidelines of every nonprofit hospital in the country, that if there is limits, say a family of 5 that if they make less than $73,000 a year, did you know when they go to the hospital, according to the guidelines, that all their hospital visit, even if they get admitted to the hospital, is supposed to be free?
I did not know that.
Yes, well, that's included with this program I was just telling you about. And so what they'll do is, even if you have, you go in there and your primary insurance covered, a great bit of it, there's some left over, then they'll work on making sure that they don't, there's a lot of overcharging in that industry. They'll make sure that you're going to pay the bare minimum. That's part of the program, and that includes both for the self-employed people and the people who work with companies with that program. So I think we have a little bit of value for some of these people out here.
Right. Could you tell me about, or tell all of us about, the self-employment tax credit?
Yes, that's part of the Family First Coronavirus Recovery Act. And there's 58 million self-employed people who have not even applied to get that. What they said was back in 2020 and 2021, they helped everybody except the self-employed people. So they passed that act in January of 21. And it said that based on your net income. So if you made money, there is a calculation that the government has. It's money sitting on the table. So Guy, if you were, if you had a decent year, say you made 40,000 a year, right? You made 40,000, you wrote off 10, you netted 30 that year, then it would be based on that, on the $30,000. I think the maximum that you can get for the 2 years is up to $32,000 back. But again, that's money sitting on the table and people don't know about it. So again, I love free. I'm a big believer in free, big believer in free. So again, that's another one that is that's not even being taken advantage of. But hey, Guy, if you didn't make that much and you got back $2,000, would you be upset?
Right, free money. Who doesn't want free money?
Yeah, absolutely.
$2,000 can be a very big benefit to any company, any person.
Right.
Nice piece of money.
Absolutely. So again, for your audience, there's money sitting on the table, and you just don't know how to get it, or you probably just don't even know anything about it, and that's why we decided to get together and do a little Q&A today. And I really appreciate you having me on your show.
Yeah. The one last thing I did want to touch on, because I know that there's another element of business services that you help people with, and it's related to an entity that we all ultimately end up dealing with in business at some point, and that is credit card processing and the fees that go with that. And you've got an interesting aspect of advocacy that you do in that area. Would you like to talk to the audience about that?
Absolutely. There is a company that's been around almost 20 years. When these credit card processing companies, when they hear their name, they just tremble, because they know they've been overcharging these merchants for years. There's a lot of hidden fees, unnecessary fees on every credit card statement. And the average business owner, even we just did one for a CBA, who was used to be in the business in college, he couldn't find this, and we saved him about $600-700 per month. So if these are things that are hidden from the naked eye, see what they do is they have forensic AI software. So it's absolutely free to find out whether they're overcharging you. So why would you not do it? And guess what? It's not a credit card processing company trying to just do this to get you to switch. They are not interested in being in that industry. What they basically do is they find the savings and they take a percentage of what they find you. But you don't have to change your accounting system. You don't even have to change the company you're currently with. All your, your processing machine, all that stuff. Guess what? You don't change anything. They just go after them and say, hey, boom, you're overcharging this client $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month, $500 a month, $200 a month. And they attack them. It's like, and if they don't lower the bill, guess what? Then you might want to consider going somewhere else. But most of the time, they don't want to lose a customer. So, and the other thing about it is continuous monitoring. So when they continue to monitor it, because the credit card companies on average raise the fees without you knowing it 6 times a year. So that being said, man, you got to make sure that you're continuing on top of it. So this company will continue to monitor for you. And they haven't, most of the average company stays with them, 8 to 10 years. Why would you leave if you're saving money and it costs you nothing out of your pocket? So that is the last one that I wanted to make people aware that is available. And again, it doesn't cost anything. All we need is 3 months of your merchant credit card statements, and we'll do an analyzation for you for free.
And I have actually seen some of the analyzations of the savings, Dan, that can be created through merchant advocate services. And I mean, that just a little money, right, that just trickles out because of, again, it's kind of unscrupulous the way that these processing companies operate. not being transparent, let's just say,
Right,
in the way that
right.
they report things. But you're looking at, I mean, there are big companies out there who have been able to recover tens of hundreds of thousands of dollars working with merchant advocate services. And again, when you're talking for a big company, that's a lot of money, right? That for anyone, that's a lot of money that can be put in other avenues of business. And so just having an advocate, again, on another level through the credit card processing services, it's just another way to help you keep more money in your pocket that you can spend on other things to grow your business.
Absolutely, Guy. That's the whole key. Save money. Why pay when you don't have to? We're business owners. I'm a business owner. If we can save money here and there, why not? And that's what my job is, to help you find that particular source. One way or the other, we're going to help you save some money. And again, zero out-of-pocket costs for any of these services.
Uncle Dan is a business advocate consultant. And as you can see, his domain there, uncledanconsulting.com, is where you can get all the information about what we spoke about today. Thank you again for dropping by, Dan. And I always say, I just so greatly appreciate the people out there who are really championing, specifically for the small business community, but for business in general. We are the unsung heroes of society, right? The ones that are out here trying to create services and products that help people, Dan, and you're on the forefront of that.
One last thing I want to leave them, if they want to call me direct, that's fine. 888-902-5905, 888-902-5905. That is directly to my company, and you may get me directly on the line. It just depends. Try it. If not, that means I'm tied up, or one of my other people, it may roll over to them. But try it, and you may get me. So let's save some money, America.
Yeah. Any parting words, Dan, before we end the podcast today?
No, just thanks for having me, man. I appreciate the opportunity to share the information with the public.
Right. Yep. And again, stay connected with people like Dan. In my opinion, the consultants, the ones who are out there really researching, active in the business community like Uncle Dan, in terms of just the efficiency, being able to help you to reach things that you may not have access to. Information is absolutely of so much importance in all aspects of life, but especially when it comes to being in business. And people like Uncle Dan have access to that information that can ultimately save you a lot of money. And again, your value to the business community, very significant, Uncle Dan.
Thank you, Guy. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, we appreciate all of you for tuning into the PR Connections show here at prconnectionsradio.com, the voice of new media. Please visit our website, follow us on social media pages, and we look forward to coming back with you soon with another business owner or celebrity. I don't know. We have all kinds of different people on this show, but you enjoy your day and your journey in life, and we will see you soon.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.